Hey, Ben here, and welcome back to my presidential election prediction. And the first thing I'm going to preface is that polling is everywhere this year, like literally everywhere. It's making no sense. Um, I really don't understand it. Okay, we're seeing Delaware actually moving into the hey, it could be in play column. Um, um, we're we're seeing some very weird numbers. Because in 2 days I've seen polls saying that taking over the same period of time, mind you, saying that Missouri is has Trump up by 10, but at the same time a poll over the same period of time showed Hillary up by 1. And then, of course, we've got the whole... Whoops. And then, of course, we've got polls showing... Yeah, it's... This election cycle is... All I'm going to say is it's going to be hard. I know polling doesn't mean a whole lot. In 30 days, it should stabilize. But I'm starting to think maybe the polls don't matter this year. Like, the only one that truly does matter is in November, but I'm starting to think that maybe the polls don't matter. Like, the pre-election polls. Because in the swing states, they are all over the place, like more so than normal. Like usually they're all within a few percentage points of each other, like 1 or 2 percentage points, regardless of the outcome they show. But when you've got some polls saying one side's up by 10 and then another saying the other side's up by 1 or 2 or 3, then you're starting to say, wait a second, that can't... What? So now you have to start thinking about where people are actually being called from or polled, like where are the polls taking place, and it's very interesting to see. And apparently California is starting to get closer, as is New York is starting to get closer. Potentially this is just a convention bump, but I'm not sure if Hillary's going to get a convention bump. I'm not sure, because the DNC was a shit show. And it was a corrupt shit show as well. The whole WikiLeaks thing is... Yeah, like I said, the DNC was... It was a complete shit show, with half the delegates walking out on one day, protests in there. Independents apparently did not like the messages that were being sent. Now, I'd say it went smoother than the Libertarian convention in Orlando, but then again, the Libertarians aren't corrupt. Oh, if you want to look at the crazy shit that happened at the Libertarian convention, just Google James Meeks. Actually, don't. Don't. I regret saying that. Oh, but yeah, no, freedom of expression. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and just go from... We're just gonna go from west to east again. Leaving a few states in the middle because, well, they're going to be difficult to tell. Instead of using just raw polls, I'm going to be using the the 3 things on 538 so that I look at all the polls. I'm also going to be looking at looking at the chances, as well as the trend lines that he has set. So, Oregon, it's looking like it's getting closer. Like, I wouldn't be too surprised to see it go red this year. That said, we're only going to lean it, though. Washington is going to be a likely, because it's actually looking that way, too. But Oregon, we're only going to lean Hillary. Nevada's leaning red right now. I know it was a Rasmussen poll, but they've only got like a 1.5 to 2 point House effect for Republicans. So it's still a Trump lead there in the most recent Rasmussen poll. Utah, we're going to go safe. I say safe because even though there was an internal poll in Mia Love's congressional district showing that Gary Johnson was actually within the margin of, at all three candidates were within the margin of error in one of the congressional districts in Utah, I don't think Hillary's going to do well outside of Salt Lake City. And of course you got Arizona, which is going to be, I'm going to put it as likely, though it could definitely be a leaner. Colorado, again, I've seen numbers all over the place. It's going to be hard to predict, so we're going to go with past behavior on this one, but we're only going to lean it. New Mexico is definitely a likely, though it is looking a lot closer than you would suspect. This congressional district is likely. I don't care how much Hillary campaigns here, it's freaking Nebraska. Obama really only pulled it off because of exceptionally high turnout among certain demographics. Missouri, I'm going to go likely. I did have it as safe at one point, but I'm going to go likely in this case. Then you have Indiana, which the only reason why I need to remember to keep putting in the safe column, because with Pence, yeah. Apparently Ohio is leaning Republican this year. Georgia, I think it's only going to be likely. North Carolina is probably going to be a leaner. Then we start getting into some of these states. New Hampshire is definitely looking like it leans. I'm not sure I believe the Trump up by 9 in New Hampshire, but I definitely could see a 2, maybe 3-point win. He's also going to win this congressional district. I'm getting more and more certain about it. The rest of Maine is going to be a likely. It's not going to be a lean. Not a lean. It's not going to be a solid. It's going to be a likely, because he definitely could flip Maine completely. Connecticut, like I said, we're only going to lean it because the numbers have been looking very close this year. Jersey is a likely for the Dems, as is Delaware, because Delaware only just got within 10%. And now we go into this area where the election truly will be decided. This is just so I can check. Yeah, and then anyway. Oops. I'm also not sure I believe the Hillary up by 9 in Pennsylvania, especially after a convention. If you look at the numbers, they literally sampled 48% of the sample was Democrats, registered Democrats, which the last time I checked, the Pennsylvania registration numbers didn't show that. And they showed Democrats having a higher turnout than both of Barack Obama's turnouts. And not only that, but since 2000, Pennsylvania has trended more and more red. So this year, it's either this year or 2020 that it flips. And I'm willing to put, I'm not going to actually do it, but if I were a betting man, I'd actually put it on this year it going red. Simply because, again, the state has been trending red. Trump's message is tailor-made for this region. And not only that, but with Hillary's calls for more gun control, President Obama did say Pennsylvania, Ohio, the upper Midwest, really, the Rust Belt and upper Midwest, need to stop clinging to their guns and religion. That's not how you win these areas. And, of course, Hillary is attacking them on guns. Now, I know I'm maybe making that a big issue, but here's the thing. Gun control advocates don't vote just based off of gun control. Gun rights advocates, however, if they think you're going to come for your gun, if they think you're going to come for their guns, you will never get their vote, and typically they will vote strategically. Virginia, mainly because of Tim Kaine. Like I said, if it weren't for Tim Kaine, I'd actually have Virginia going red right now. If Hillary had picked someone like Sherrod Brown, I definitely would have Virginia as red. But she picked Tim Kaine from Virginia, and that's going to help out. Iowa, it's leaning Republican right now. Then if we decide to... Wisconsin has had some actually fairly... It's weird, this area's numbers have been fairly stable. Everywhere else, they've been all over the place. Or just weird. Minnesota is leaning Dem. The last numbers I checked were within the 5% I consider a lean. Wisconsin is the same, but it's much closer. Michigan, there's a metric crap ton of undecideds in the most recent poll, and it's also within this, but I think it's going to switch mainly because of Trump's message here. And Michigan is much more, industrial than Wisconsin or Minnesota. Now, we've already given Trump the victory here, but Florida is also looking like it could lean Republican, though it could also go Dem. Florida's just a true toss-up. That's literally what it is. Florida is always the true toss-up. No matter how far the election is, Florida is always close. So I'm kind of sticking by my prediction from last video. Maybe Hillary gets a small boost in Michigan from the convention. But like I said, I think I'm going to stick with my prediction for now. At least until we see exactly how the conventions play into the polling numbers. But we really don't know anything this cycle. That's the thing. That's why you see people saying, oh, Trump's going to win in... That's why you have people saying Trump's going to win on a landslide, picking up all of these states, except maybe a few. Oh, yeah. New York's getting close to that, but... So this is what I'm looking at right now. And of course, this rate's basically where I think they'll be in terms of light is within 5%. This medium color is within 10. Like this one and this one and this one. And this is anything over 10. Anyway, I will see you guys next time.